Good evening, everyone. Recorded by Richter here, back for a brand new music segment. I'm continuing my Detroit month, and today I have another artist highlight video for you. And the artist that I am speaking about tonight is rapper Sam Be Yourself. Well, I guess calling him just a rapper would be a little bit of an undersell. He is a rapper, multi-instrumentalist, music producer, and the list goes on. Sam is an incredibly talented MC, and I will kind of pull back and start at the beginning, but I first wanted to kind of tell you about how our stories kind of cross paths and how I met Sam and came to know him as the MC that he is now. So in 2019, Netflix launched a new reality music competition based show called Rhythm and Flow. It's kind of in the same vein as like an American Idol or X Factor, similar to that, only geared specifically towards hip hop. The first season came out in 2019, and there was a rapper from Detroit on there named Sam Be Yourself. Sam ended up making it to, I think, the final three, where he was unfortunately dismissed there, but I think he could have easily won the show as his skill level reflects it. Sam, after that show, used his connections and all the skill sets that he honed from being on that show to continue grinding and putting out music. Now, I'll kind of take you to when our stories kind of cross paths. At the time, I was living in Detroit with my podcast partner, E-Man, who I do Beats, Brews, and Points of View with. Well, he had come home one night and talked about how he was like, "You're never gonna guess who I met at Queen's Bar tonight." And I'm like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Sam Be Yourself from Netflix's Rhythm and Flow." He's like, "We chopped it up, we took shots together. He was like the coolest guy, super nice, super friendly, and down to earth." And I was like, "Oh, no way, man, that's crazy." And I had followed Sam after the Rhythm and Flow show. I started paying attention to his music because he had already had some projects out on streaming services that you could check out. So I was like really geeked about this. I was like, damn, E-Man and I had the podcast well underway by then. And so I was like really excited about this. And I was like, all right, let's try to see if we can maybe talk to him some more about getting him to come do our podcast. Well, anyways, fast forward a little bit, and we were living downtown together at the unfortunate time where George Floyd was murdered at the hands of the police, by the police, I should say, and protests broke out all over the country. Well, E and I, we were just one block off of Woodward where we were living, and so we walked on down and joined the protest that was going on in Detroit down Woodward to the police station down there. And while we were walking around during the protest, we just so happened to see Sam walking around with his girlfriend, I think now wife, if I'm not mistaken, and he had recognized E-Man. Him and E-Man recognized each other from meeting each other at Queens, and so we stopped and chopped it up for a little bit. And he was cool as could be, like E-Man said, and that kind of started building the relationship there, and we kept in contact with him. And eventually in 2022, he came to the studio that we were recording at the time, and we chopped it up and did a full episode of the Beats, Brews, and Points of View podcast with him. So it's been a really dope relationship since. I see him all over the place. Sam is a rapper's rapper, man. He likes to rap. Like, that's not just, some people get into it because they think that they can make fast money or something like that, which is totally not the case. It's an illusion if you think that that's possible. But Sam is one of the people that is like born with the music in him, I would say. It just is so apparent when you hear him rap. There's an enthusiasm behind his bars, and you can just tell he's excited when he's doing it. You can tell he's in his element and in his natural place. And so a little bit of backstory on that. Sam grew up in the Metro Detroit area, and as a kid, his mom was more into like the soulful style of music, the Motown and Hall & Oates, some of the yacht rock stuff, where his dad was into more of the classic rock music. And he said it was actually his sister that got him into hip hop and started putting him on to all the awesome legends in hip hop music. Well, that kind of sparked the creativity in him, and he continued to pursue music and learning instruments. So he said he had a neighbor that was into playing guitar and started teaching him how to play guitar. and from guitar went to drums, and then he learned violin and then piano. So yeah, he really gets after it with this music. He takes it really serious, and I think it's really just a benefit to him because he can produce all his own music, and he does. He's produced a majority of the work that he's put out. He definitely collaborates with other people, but he can knock out a project by himself with no help from anyone else, no problem. Before I get into a little bit of the rhythm and flow stuff, I'm not going to tell you a ton of the information because I will link the podcast in the description and you can watch the whole thing. He can tell his story better than I can, and you can watch the whole thing there. And I also have like a few clips of him performing at different events we've been at together. And so I might either put those into the episode or I'll link them in the description. I haven't quite decided yet, but Sam has
Is a kid, come from the city, when they get to hate it, if you know that bicycle wrist. I run it, if I took the once and I bought it, it still ain't as gold as the lyrics I spit. Shit, go ahead and take you some medicine, piece of my rhymes are as real as they relevant. Fighting that bullshit you peddling, he wanna speak to the manager, late man. Hey, he wanna speak to the boss, let him in. Hey, down no matter the cost, let him in. Hey, heard you been looking for me, let him in.
7 projects you can get on streaming, and they are in 2018 he dropped Neverland. 2019 he has No More Mr. Nice Guy. In 2020 with a collaborative project with Melton John called Samuel is Melton. In 2020 he put out Isolation Chamber. In 2022 he put out Sunshine Diaries. Sunshine Diaries was the project that he was about to drop when he came through our podcast, and that one is one of my favorites of his. That one is super strong. I feel like Sam had a chip on his shoulder when he made that project. I feel like he was, and we're guilty of it. We had to ask him about Netflix, of course, but I feel like he was tired of the Netflix stuff and ready to just go balls to the wall, and he proved himself on Sunshine Diaries. He's got some great collaborations on there too. He's got Isaac Castor on there, who is a beast, and then someone that I'm definitely going to be cutting another artist highlight video on for Detroit. He's got legend Guilty Simpson on the project, who, if you're unfamiliar with Guilty is one of Detroit's best MCs and has been for the last 20 years. So he's got a lot of cool stuff on that. And then in 2024, he dropped Masterful. And then just recently, and what sparked the idea for this video coming out right now, was he dropped a project called More Raps. And Sam is awesome, man. I just listened to More Raps a little bit ago, and he really is a versatile artist. He can give you the fun, bouncy records. He can even, I kind of like that he will sometimes use other people's flows just to show you all the different things that he can do. He'll do a quick little tease of it, or he'll quote a rap legend. And these are all things that I love. I love good reference points and someone that can bounce in and out of different flow patterns, and then someone that can give you a little bit of balance as well on their projects, because it's not all just fun bouncy records on this project. There's some deep, really introspective records towards the end of the project that I thought were really, really strong too. So I think Sam is probably, I think this is a mixtape, because there's some skits at the beginning that allude to it being a mixtape. So I'm kind of interested to talk to him again and kind of find out what else he has in store, because I know Sam is one of those type of artists that is constantly working. If you follow his social media, you see he constantly drops freestyle videos, and sometimes he'll just either be chopping something up on the beat pad or show you a little guitar part he's working on. And he's great at promoting his own shows. He'll usually freestyle about it or come up with some kind of funny skit about it, and I all of that matters to me. I am interested in someone that really puts the care into the full package of the music, and Sam has always done that. A little bit about the rhythm and flow stuff, I won't go too deep into it because he can just tell you as you watch my video for it later on, but he was living in Chicago at the time, and that's when he had saw something come down social media about MTV starting a new reality-based show, and so he started auditioning, and then he started noticing Twista, legendary Chicago rapper Twista, started liking a bunch of his stuff, and that was kind of the start of it. After that, he was contacted by Rhythm and Flow and had to audition for Royce, Twista, and Chance, and he didn't know who was going to be in the room, so that had to have been crazy to be dropped with that bombshell, like right there and on the spot. But I just think that's really impressive, and the ball started rolling from there, and I'll let you watch him tell it. But beyond that, Sam, just keep putting out these projects, man. I'll keep promoting you, and we would love to have you back to the Beats, Brews, and Points of View podcast for a follow-up. So if you see this, reach out. We would love to have you on. And beyond that, I've put some Easter eggs in the frame of who I might be making more videos about in this coming month, but I've got some really awesome ones that I am excited to start writing and recording for coming up really soon. So look out for more Detroit month stuff out of the Recorded by Richter channel. Look out for more podcast episodes. We're going to be doing Detroit stuff on the podcast too, in a more long form thing. We usually run about an hour and a half on our podcast. But beyond that, we will catch you next time, and I appreciate you guys checking it out. Subscribe if you could. That would be dope. Peace.